Hello all, this is Zimnala coming at you with another adventure in Demise, Rise of the Kutan. Today we're going to be continuing our lore readouts with our friend Sticky Fingers. Now last time we covered a lot of the spells, but this time we're heading back to the monsters to talk about the real monsters. So we've covered the undead, we've covered the devils and demons and all of their ilk, the lycanthropes and whatnot, but we're gonna get to the real monsters of the game, the humans, the humanoid ones, the ones that sold their souls to evil. We're gonna get right on into this. So starting with the scabies, a menace to the upper levels and the city. Scabies are smelly little kobolds who lack the skill to dispatch most intruders. They steal what they can get their hands on and usually flee in panic at the first sign of trouble. We have the footpads. Goblins who know that they're not up to a fair fight. These small creatures prefer to grab and run. Outcasts. Expelled members of the Thieves Guild who don't like to work on the streets. They combine strong-arm tactics and fight light fingers in an attempt to liberate possessions from novice adventurers. Scavengers. Members of the Guild of Thieves, scavengers aren't too fussy how they get gold. Then we have cutthroats. Skilled and experienced goblin thieves. Cutthroats are known to travel with lesser crooks, using them as distractions while they liberate the loot and run. Drek villain. These dark creatures are well known for torturing sadistic ways, deadly in combat, and known for their frenzied attack patterns. Drek villains are one of the more deadly menaces to young adventurers. They are actually more deadly than average enemies on their floors. They do cast pretty strong element spells on you. Thug. Decent fighters and accomplished thieves, thugs have been known to even strike at the Goblin Lord if they think the wyverns aren't going to notice. Good for them. Pickpocket. No one is certain if these pickpockets are members of the Thieves Guild or are denizens of the depths, but they are exceptionally fast and have been known to strike, grab some loot, and vanish before some adventurers can react. Cut purse. Members of the Thieves Guild. Cut purses travel in groups and aren't the least bit squeamish about stabbing someone in the back if a purse isn't handy. Shrellar Thief. Fast and tough, Shrellar thieves often use a frontal assault to overwhelm others so that they can loot the corpses at their leisure. Scoundrel. While not particularly skilled thieves, scoundrels are good fighters and are often encountered in situations where one wouldn't expect to find a thief who was looking to make a profit. Criminal. Not overly interested in stealing loot, criminals are known for their tendency to use surprise, physical force, and evil-looking knives to kill enemies. They often don't even bother to loot their victims. A villain. Best known for their use of poisoned weapons and sneaking back attacks, villains are a nasty bunch who often taunt their victims. Yep, that makes sense. Robber. Members of the Guild of Thieves. Robbers are talented thieves who prefer to grab and run rather than fight. However, this doesn't mean that they're poor combatants. With their skill in backstabbing, they can be deadly foes. Burglars. Wandering members of the Thieves Guild. Burglars wander in the depths with other thieves looking for lairs to loot, though they're perfectly willing to plunder an adventurer's belongings as well. Gredlin Footpad. Talented hobgoblin thieves. Gredlin footpads are not particularly skilled combatants, so they tend to try grabbing loot and running if they get into a fight. Hooded Thief. Believed to be a former member of the Guild of Thieves, no one knows precisely who the Hooded Thief is or what he's doing in the dungeon. A dangerous spider protected by magical enchantments that reduce the amount of damage he suffers, the Hooded Thief prefers stealing and destroying items to fighting. If he can't avoid a fight, he likes to deliver devastating backstabs from the protection of his invisibility shield. So yeah, these guys are one of the first thieves that don't just steal, but they also break your items. So they're actually relatively nasty as far as thieves go. Pilferer. Skilled members of the Guild of Thieves. Pilferers strike from behind or use stealth to gain wealth rather than main force. Brigand. By muscle or stealth, brigands are best known for their dishonorable combat skills. However, they tend to win against those who aren't willing to bend and use the brigands' tactics against them. Laughing Looter. You won't be the one laughing after this scumbag steals all your gold and runs off with it. Kill it as fast as you can before he takes your life savings. These guys can behead you, by the way. Like, these guys are pretty nasty, too. Thief. Members of their craft, masters of their craft, thieves from the guild. These individuals are very adept at liberating adventurers from their loot. They are also good fighters. Taunt. This moron has a great defense, but couldn't hit you with a shotgun at close range. He mostly just stands there and makes fun of you while you miss him. And then we get to the creatures that we haven't properly identified. We actually got pretty far through the list, though, so we'll cover the other ones later at a future occasion when we actually get to a point where we can fully identify most of those creatures. Now we move on to the spellcasting traitors to their species. Starting with the Theurgist. Novice magicians. These individuals mask themselves with invisibility spells and seek magical spells in tomes, though they rarely stray far from the entrance to the dungeon. Summoner. Why he is called a summoner, we are not sure, because he doesn't seem to summon anything. He does, however, cast mind and damage spells, and can kill you if you aren't careful. Diviner. Apprentice magicians. These people are strong enough to broaden the search for magical items that all new magicians engage in while hiding in their shield of invisibility. Trickster. Recently graduated magicians. These mages are adept at appearing far more advanced in the art than they actually are. The skill allows them to delve deeper in the dungeon for treasure than others at their level. Conjurer. Experienced members of the various magical guilds. Conjurers seek magic items and defend themselves with powerful magical spells. Magician. In case you didn't already know, this is a spellcaster. Get up close and engage in melee combat to kill him quickly. Element Mage. Masters of elemental magic, with a shocking touch and a deft mastery of deadly elemental attack spells. These magi are perhaps best known for their high resistance to most forms of magic. Sorcerer. Protected by strong enchantments and armed with many forms of elemental magic, sorcerers travel in groups and are capable of causing massive amounts of damage to unprotected adventurers. Caster of Souls. The Caster of Souls got his name from the many people whose souls he has cast to the heavens. One alone may not seem like much, but when you encounter a number of them at once, it can cause great amounts of damage. Mortal Sorcerer. Often mistaken initially as common sorcerers, these evil magicians have been trained in the use of deadly magic that is not familiar to experienced magicians. And then we start reaching the creatures that we haven't properly identified. They're significantly more difficult to identify than their thief friends. And yes, this is where we're gonna call it off for this time. We will continue our recitation of the traitors next time when we go through the rest of the ranks. Y'all take care now, and we will see you later. Bye-bye, y'all.